One of the most interesting things that I've discovered since starting Docstoc and since starting 2 other companies before that is there's no one type of entrepreneur. Every kind of person imaginable can be and is an entrepreneur. And so it leads you to think, well, what's that defining characteristic? What is the entrepreneurial mindset? What separates some people from another? And the most meaningful and maybe only characteristic I've ever found that distinguishes folks is simply people that jumped in versus those that didn't. Entrepreneurship is a contact sport. It's not something you can learn in a class. It's not something that you can learn academically. You learn it by doing it. And so even if it seems like somebody is predisposed to be a good entrepreneur and somebody else may not be, until you're in the arena, you really have no idea. And the only thing I've found that distinguishes people that are entrepreneurs from those that aren't is that you get yourself into the game. Because once you put yourself in a position where you have to do something entrepreneurial, you have no choice but to figure it out. My 5-year-old nephew is terrified of swimming. He would not get in the pool for any reason. We tried to teach him stroke by stroke, kicking, paddling, put him in the floaties. Nothing worked. Finally, we took him to the swim Nazi. And what she basically did is she had him put on his bathing suit, get by a pool, and she threw him right in. No floaties, no nothing. And he was in there screaming and yelling, but he was in there. And he was forced to figure out how to start doggy paddling. And when he got out, she threw him right back in again. And what basically happened is my nephew had no choice but to sink or swim. He didn't know how to swim, but he had to darn well figure out right there on the spot something to keep him afloat. That's the defining characteristic of an entrepreneur. That's the real entrepreneurial mindset. It's that you're willing to put yourself in the game, because the fact of the matter is none of us have any idea what comes afterwards. Even if you've started and sold a dozen companies, your 13th company is completely different. And so what distinguishes those that do from those that don't is simply that, is that you're willing to put yourself in the game, you're willing to take the leap of faith and deal with whatever comes afterwards.